Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. This is episode 313, as well as day 313 of my journey. At the beginning of the year, I challenged myself to run 365 days in a row, all outside, bearing the elements, whatever they may bring. I also challenged myself to run 1,500 miles within this time frame, and to run two big races also within this time frame. One of those races being a 50K ultra marathon trail race. That was the Yankee Springs 50K trail race. That was on June 5th, day 156 of my journey. I was able to finish that 31-mile race within 7 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. Now, the next race that came up within this yearly time frame was the Detroit Free Press Marathon. I ran that on day 290 of my journey. Was shooting for a sub 4 hour time within that race, in that marathon, and was able to just achieve that with 3 hours, 57 minutes, and 28 seconds. So I was really excited about that time. Both of those races and those times were personal records for me. So I got 2 PRs with that, not to mention that I'm also on a PR just in the amount of days in a row of running. So, again, this is day 313, 313, so clearly I was able to keep the streak alive after both those big races. So let's actually break down today's mileage for day 313. So for today, got out there and put in another 5.2 miles for the day. That put me at 10.3 miles for the week, which put me at 62.9 miles for the month, which put me at 1,422.3 miles for the year. So we are exactly 77.7 miles away from completing this year's mile challenge of 1,500 miles. That was the goal, so we're only 77.7 miles away from that yearly goal, with plenty of time to spare. But we want to quickly focus in on these monthly miles of 62.9. So every single month I challenge myself to run a 100-mile challenge, and I do it in honor of a charity in which I donate money to, as well as I try to raise money for and awareness for by starting a coinciding fundraiser that follows along with the 100-mile challenge throughout that month. For the first 10 months, was able to raise money for 10 great charities, and now we're here within the 11th month, the month of November, and we are raising money and awareness for yet another great charity. So November's 100-mile challenge is in honor of Movember. You can learn more about this fundraiser, and you can also make your donations by finding the link within the Defining Discipline Instagram or Facebook stories, or my personal pages, Instagram or Facebook stories. So within the actual stories on either the Instagram or Facebook of my personal page or Defining Discipline pages, within the stories, it'll pop up saying the 100-mile challenge for November, and the November's 100-mile challenge in honor of Movember. You click on that link, it'll open up the actual donation page where you can find out more information about the actual fundraiser and cause, as well as make your donations. Keep in mind that all donations that get made to this month's fundraiser, and all fundraisers for that matter, go directly to the fundraiser and the cause. Facebook is not taking any portion or percentage of your donations. All of it is going directly to the cause, and this month's cause is Movember. I do know times are tough and not everyone can afford to donate, but if you'd still like to help out, the next best thing you could do, again, is share this fundraiser. We're trying to get as many eyes on it as possible, raise as much awareness for it, and the best way to do that is to get it out there, just let people understand what it's about. So click that share button, put it on your page. If you don't want it on your page, you could even put it on your stories. It disappears in 24 hours, and then no one will ever see it again. But at least you did, your due diligence of putting it out there. So If you can, get your donations in. If not, share it. And if not, still, just go to the page, check it out, learn a little bit more about the cause of Movember. Now, let's get ready to get into today's actual episode, episode 313. But as always, quickly, right before we do that, we are going to discuss today's word of the day. And today's word of the day is tourniquet. So tourniquet means to shorten by or as if by cutting off. Oh no, I guess it's truncate. I'm sorry. I was thinking of tourniquet. Wow, that was way off. So it's truncate. Truncate means to shorten by or as if by cutting off. Wow, I feel real dumb. I read that completely wrong. But hey, it happens. So let's get actually into today's episode 313. Now that we got that idiotic word of the day out of the way. Actually, it was a good word of the day. I'm just an idiot. So, today's episode 313. Today's theme for today's episode is in honor of 313, and it is Detroit. And I wanted to talk about Detroit for a couple different reasons. One, because Detroit, not only is it the metro city in the area from which I reside in. It also definitely embodies the whole mentality of this podcast and what I've been doing, defining discipline. And what I mean by that is Detroit is very resilient. Detroit, it gets a hard rap. It's a rough city. It's a place that has definitely seen hard times and has fallen victim to hard times. And a lot of people have abandoned it, given up on it, but it has always stuck in there and fought. And it has always continued to fight and to rebuild and rebuild and rebuild. And as someone who grew up within the city in the 90s, I've seen so much change from even from then to now. Obviously a lot of improvements. There's so many things that I miss about even the old city in the old times. But that's kind of more nostalgic than anything. But to just see how much the city has developed over these years, and to be again from the 90s when all we had were the few sports teams to really root for. That was our hope. That was what really kept the city going, kept the city alive. And the Wings went on their bout through the 90s where they were just winning cups left and right, and we were all celebrating, having a great time, and living in the glory of that. But again, it's all about the resilience. It's all about really it being what the one city that it's the butt of all jokes. It's always the thing people look at you. You're crazy when you tell them you're from the Detroit area. When you go to travel places and they start asking you questions like, how dangerous is it, and stupid stuff like that. And but again, it's a city of resilience. It's a city that continues to push through all of its hardships and to truly to blossom over these last few years. And even to begin with, I mean, it was one of the most important cities throughout the country, especially during war times. And we were one of the most, again, bustling cities throughout America with, all the cars and everything, the factories through here. A lot of people moved up here to get factory jobs, and then a lot of that kind of fell out. But and a lot of people left again, but the city has always continued to push through no matter what stood in its way. And there's always those people who are from here, who have lived that tough life, that blue collar life. And um, I am truly honored to be from from the city, from this area. And yeah, most of my life I never technically grew up, didn't have to go to Detroit schools, and didn't grow up um, within technically the city too much. But yes, I had a huge tie with the city. Did stay many, many nights within the city, and probably in the worst possible places you could stay at within the city limits, not even downtown area. I'm talking about West Side Detroit, where my dad actually used to own a jewelry store, and he would live within the back of the jewelry store. And every time I would go to visit him, a lot of the times it was at his jewelry store. And I grew up a lot there with a lot of my friends. They can vouch for me. They went there. We all stayed there in the back of a jewelry store, in the middle of Detroit. So 7 Mile and Evergreen, to be exact. And so I've definitely been and have a huge tie with the city, and even the downtown area. Like I said, I've just I always grew up there, always visited there, always went downtown to hockey games, baseball games. Always went down there, skateboarded, and did crazy things. I worked down there for a majority of my you know working life. Worked at different places down there. Worked at the Rooster Tail. Worked at the Colony Club and the Gym Theater. All serving for weddings, and did just a whole bunch of cool things down there. And I really enjoy the city, and I'm really again glad, and I take pride in saying I'm from Detroit. And it's kind of like, again, it's that pride where it's like, yeah, I'm from that city that you guys like to make fun of, but we know how actually great it is here, and we know the type of people that have to the type of person you have to be to kind of really make it here, and to live here and to survive here. You got to have grit. You got to really again be resilient. That is the kind of the main message for it is, um, no matter uh, how much people look down on you, and how much people always are gonna say you're gonna fail, or whatever the case may be. Detroit has always uh, surprised people, and that's truly what I can say. And I'm very, again, proud to be from this area, proud to have been raised within this area, and am grateful to be here, truly. And like I said, this episode is themed Detroit, because Detroit, you know, it's a hard city. It's a rough city. You got to be tough to make it here. And that's why I think it truly embodies what I've been doing over these past few years of really turning my life around, and trying to take my health into consideration, and start running like I have been, and really challenging myself this year with running. Um, you know, I think the city of Detroit and this it truly embodies what I'm doing. So that's why I wanted to theme today's episode Detroit. I wanted to pay homage to the city as well, and just the mindset and the mentality of you know being a Metro Detroiter. So that is today's episode. For your daily discipline today as well, it is to be resilient. It is to look at Detroit, to learn a little bit of the Detroit's history, and to see how resilient it truly is. It was once on top of the world within, like I said, major cities. It was the up and coming city. It definitely helped build and establish a lot of America. Without Detroit, these highways and things that we call roads necessarily would not probably be here. Um, So there's a lot of cool history within Detroit. So your daily discipline for the day today is to learn a little bit about it and see how resilient the city has been, and see how much of a roller coaster it's kind of been through. Like I said, with its high, then you get into a deep low, and then kind of rising back up on a high again, and then kind of falling back down, and we're yet again on a going back on another high, especially in the downtown area. They've definitely really cleaned it up, made it really nice. There's a lot of nice restaurants, nice businesses going down there, and a good energy down there. So it's nice to see that all the sports teams now are all within a couple block radiuses. That's another really nice thing that the city has got going on. It's definitely always packed down there with traffic and all that. They're doing so much to really build the city up. So it's beautiful to see that. So we're definitely riding a high right now, and just trying to continue with that. So that is going to be your daily discipline for the day today. Other than that, thank you guys so much for following along and listening. 313 episodes, 313 days. Seems insane to be this far along within the year, but here we are. If you guys can, please give the podcast a like, a subscribe, a follow, and a share on our Facebook, our TikTok, our Instagram, our YouTube, and whatever podcast streaming platform you've been following along and listening on. Again, this is the Defining Discipline podcast. I'm your host, Scott. This was episode 313. Get your daily discipline done. If you guys can, get some donations in, share the fundraiser, and learn a little bit more about the fundraiser as well. And until tomorrow, episode 314, just take it easy, guys, and I'll see you then. Peace out. 313, one more time, rep in Detroit. Have a good night, guys. See ya.